Have you ever sat on the toilet, feeling like you need to go, but no matter how hard you try, nothing happens? Or maybe you finally do have a bowel movement, but it feels incomplete, almost as if something is still stuck. If you're over 50, you're certainly not alone. In fact, constipation becomes much more common as we age, and for many people, it isn't just uncomfortable. It can affect sleep, appetite, energy, and even your confidence to leave the house. Yet, so many people suffer in silence because they're embarrassed to talk about it. Here's something that may surprise you. The biggest mistake many people make when they feel stool is stuck isn't that they're eating the wrong food or drinking too little water, although those things matter. It's that they keep straining harder and harder, believing more effort will solve the problem. In reality, excessive straining can sometimes make things worse and may contribute to problems like hemorrhoids or anal fissures. Later in this video, I'll share one simple technique that many colorectal specialists recommend to help your body empty the bowels more naturally. It doesn't require an expensive supplement or a miracle remedy, and many people have never heard of it. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you've joined us. This channel is dedicated to helping adults over 50 enjoy healthier aging through practical, evidence-based information you can actually use. Growing older doesn't mean accepting discomfort as normal. It means understanding how your body changes and learning safe ways to work with those changes. Let's begin with something we all know. Your digestive system works incredibly hard every single day. From the moment you eat, your stomach, intestines, and colon begin a carefully coordinated process that moves food, absorbs nutrients, and eventually eliminates waste. Most of the time, this happens without you giving it much thought. But when that process slows down, you notice it quickly. Many people believe constipation simply means not having a bowel movement every day. But that's not always true. Some healthy people naturally go every other day, or even every third day. Constipation is more about what you're experiencing. Are your stools hard and difficult to pass? Do you feel like you're never completely empty? Are you straining for several minutes? Do you have the sensation that stool is stuck in the rectum? Those experiences often tell us more than the number of bowel movements alone. One of the most common reasons this happens is that stool stays in the colon longer than it should. As it sits there, the colon continues absorbing water from it. The longer it remains, the drier and harder it becomes. Imagine leaving a wet sponge out on the kitchen counter for several days. It gradually loses moisture and becomes stiff. Stool behaves in a similar way. The drier it becomes, the more difficult it can be to pass comfortably. Age itself can also play a role. As we get older, the muscles involved in digestion may become less active. Physical activity often decreases. Some people begin taking medications that can contribute to constipation, including certain pain medications, iron supplements, calcium supplements, and some medicines used for blood pressure, depression, or Parkinson's disease. That doesn't mean you should stop any prescribed medication on your own. But it does mean it's worth discussing persistent constipation with your healthcare provider if symptoms begin after starting a new medicine. Hydration is another piece of the puzzle. Many older adults simply don't feel thirsty as often as they did when they were younger. Without realizing it, they begin drinking less water throughout the day. Your colon depends on adequate fluid to help keep stool soft enough to move comfortably. While drinking more water alone isn't always enough to solve constipation, especially if you're already dehydrated or not eating enough fiber, staying well hydrated remains an important part of healthy digestion. Now let's talk about fiber, because it's one of the most misunderstood topics in digestive health. Fiber acts like a natural helper inside your digestive tract. It can add bulk to stool and help it move through the intestines more efficiently. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds are excellent sources. But here's something many people don't realize. If you suddenly add a large amount of fiber without increasing your fluid intake, you may actually feel more bloated or uncomfortable. That's why gradual changes are usually much easier on your digestive system. I'd like to ask you something because chances are many people watching this video have experienced the same thing. Have you ever felt like your bowel movement was incomplete, even after spending several minutes trying? If you're comfortable sharing, let us know in the comments. These conversations may feel personal, but they're incredibly common, and hearing from others often reminds us that we're not alone. Another reason stool may seem stuck has nothing to do with the stool itself. Sometimes it's related to how the muscles of the pelvic floor work. During a normal bowel movement, those muscles should relax to allow stool to pass. In some people, especially as they age or after certain medical conditions, those muscles don't coordinate as effectively. Instead of relaxing, they may tighten at the wrong moment, making bowel movements much more difficult. This is one reason why simply pushing harder isn't always the answer. Imagine trying to squeeze toothpaste through a tube while someone pinches the opening closed. No matter how much pressure you apply, it becomes frustrating and inefficient. Your body works in a similar way. Relaxation and coordination often matter just as much as effort. As you're listening today, you may already recognize some of these patterns in your own life. Perhaps you've been drinking less water than you realized. Maybe you've become less active since retirement. Or perhaps you've accepted constipation as something you simply have to live with because of your age. The encouraging news is that many cases of constipation can improve with the right combination of lifestyle changes and, when appropriate, medical guidance. We're only getting started, because the next part may completely change the way you think about bowel movements. I'll explain why your sitting position on the toilet matters far more than most people realize, why rushing can work against you, and the simple technique I mentioned at the beginning that many people find surprisingly helpful for making bowel movements feel easier and more complete without excessive straining.